New year, same old us in some ways, but in other ways, new things. Steve and I have been thinking about kind of New Year's resolutions here and things that we want to try and achieve or do or get better at. Not necessarily from an investing perspective, but in some cases they might be financial. We've been looking at some other people's YouTube videos. Boss Hog had a really good one where he talked about things that he wants to achieve. He has a lot he wants to achieve in 2023. I would like to complete 1 rep of anything on a bench press for what it's worth. That's mainly my ambition. But it got us thinking about the things that we want to kind of do and try and be and help achieve and so on. So, Steve, do you want to go first or shall I go first on this?
You go first.
Okay, so here's my kind of New Year's resolution ambition thing. A little bit of background for the moment then, for people who either don't listen very carefully to this show or have just arrived or find the stuff I say boring and skip over it. Any of those is perfectly justifiable. Steve has been putting me onto something called Blinkist recently, where you can listen to what I think are probably decent summaries of books in about 20 minutes or so, boiled down into what they consider to be the key kind of points. It might be sort of between about 4 and 10 for each of these. And I was listening to one called the 5 AM Club by a guy called Robin Sharma. And what this was about, it's about kind of productivity and being efficient and getting things done. And I was thinking about my year, and one of the kind of main features that I'm going to have to figure out this year is how I'm going to get anything at all done with a small baby, a wife, moving house, all these kinds of things. And I think the key to getting anything efficient done, either at work or for the podcast or for any of the other kind of side projects that I work on and want to put time into, is I'm going to have to join this thing called the 5 AM Club, which is where you get up at 5 AM and when everything is quiet and there's no one around bothering you, you basically try and get something done. It's whatever's important to you. They recommend starting with some exercise, for what it's worth. I'm unlikely to do that because exercise isn't so important to me, but my hope is to try and get up at around 5 AM, get a good hour of something positive in, so not looking at social media, not reading stuff on Twitter, not checking out boring the sports news or anything like that, anything kind of insignificant, but something important either to my work or to this show or to the stuff I do on the side for being productive, basically. And then after that, the rest of the day will go the way it goes. I'll do the best I can to hang in there while balancing all the other kind of commitments I have. I'm I want to say realistic, maybe pessimistic, maybe not entirely optimistic human, so I'm not going to do this every day for what it's worth. I've already blown that because I haven't got up at 5 AM at all, and it's January the 5th. But I am planning on trying to do it for 100 days, so I'm going to get 100 lots of good 1 hour shoves in and see what that can do for my productivity / ability to produce anything at all. It's kind of connected to the Charlie Munger idea of paying yourself first, I guess. Take the first hour of the day for yourself, and then the rest of the world and people who want to bother you with emails or land in your DMs like Steve and so on can... Steve won't be up at 5 AM, so there's no way I'm spending that time on him. Can take over your the rest of your day, and you can spend it doing those usual things. But I'm going to try and find that hour 100 times this year to get something good and productive done. I will update you as to how it goes in 3 months' time when I've achieved 2 of them.
Not only will I not be in your DMs at 5 AM, I didn't even realise there was another 5 in the day.
Well, there isn't where you're from. It's dark then.
It's dark. It's really dark. No, to be fair, I did have a think about getting up at 6 AM, starting to get up at 6 AM for the same reason. I'd not actually listened to that blink because it must have been one of the days I missed it. But yeah, that's interesting that's an actual thing.
It's not one of the ones that's been a kind of free day one so far. I signed up for a trial and then cancelled it again, but I had a good raid through some different things. And actually what I found was that towards the end of last year, in a sort of month or so, I probably got through most of the blinks that I wanted to get through because I'm not sure there were more than 30 that I really wanted to hear summaries of. And they're really quite addictive, by the way. I really recommend trying out Blinkist if anyone was thinking about it or hasn't heard of it. I think they're very good. The reason I say I think is I haven't actually read all of these books I've been listening to summaries of, so I can't actually tell you that they're super accurate because I've checked the books themselves. But I found them really, really interesting. I've been thinking about things in kind of more and interesting ways than I would have done before, and I thought the 5 AM Club was quite a nice listen, actually.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of just to give a quick overview of what they do, they basically take a book and distill it down into sort of, well, anything between sort of 3 and sort of 15 to 20 minutes, I think is kind of the best description. So they try and get the main juice out of the book and present it to you as efficiently as they can, with the suitable stories that go with it. And, it's then your choice to go and buy the book and read on from that point. So they've had some really good books on, like Atomic Habits by James Clear was on there quite early on, and Quit by Annie Duke was on there, as was Thinking in Bets as well, which are both books that I would probably prefer to have read on Blinkist or have read to me on Blinkist than actually read myself.